What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a cool video because guess what, we are actually looking at some teasers that Apex Legends has released on the eve of a brand new announcement that they're going to be giving out their new cinematic Stories from the Outlands on what we assume to be Loba, the new character seemingly officially confirmed, or at least will be tomorrow in Apex Legends. And I'm very excited to break down a couple of these things with you in this video, but also show you what this tease is. Now, don't focus on the gameplay. I kind of just put some stuff together pretty quickly. It's not very good. I was not expecting to make a video, but I do have some fun information, and especially to catch you guys up on all of the teases that have happened in the lore for Apex Legends heading into this. So if you do like this style and this video and obviously are interested in this info, please leave a like and comment down below. Also, anything that I might have missed, make sure to hit that up because I do not consider myself a lore buff, but I do know that I like following along with the general idea of what is happening in this game, and that's what we're going to be doing today as we take a look at a couple of the sequences of how it all unfolded. So we got an announcement earlier this week that on Thursday, I believe at 10 a.m. Pacific time, you can find yourself watching on their YouTube channel the premiere of the new Loba tease. It is Stories from the Outlands, and again, this is very similar to things like what we've seen with Bloodhound very recently on the channel and with Apex Legends, and what we've seen in the beginning with Wraith, where they had that 10-minute cinematic. The cool thing about these Stories from the Outlands is they do tend to be a little longer. The shortest one, I believe, was actually Crypto's, which was a couple of minutes. So assuming that they were on different pipelines and that the Bloodhound one had been working on itself for a while and not directly related to the task force with Loba, I'm hoping we get a bigger video as well, hopefully in the 8 to 10 minute range. But you guys let me know in the comment section below what you're expecting. It could very well be just a short one, but there is one coming on Thursday at 10 a.m. Get ready for it. It is going to be very exciting. Now, that's Pacific time. The other thing that has happened in this game and through the Twitter and the obviously highlights of Apex Legends is that on their Twitter feed, they announced a couple of teases leading up into this mode. Now, the cool thing about the teases that I think we're excited about, especially looking at, is that they relay some details that have to do with this upcoming cinematic tomorrow. So I'm going to show you the first tease that was shown a couple of days ago. The first tease actually has a couple of files like you're going through a computer, and it says Project 617. Now, what is Project 617? We're assuming this is basically the project of Revenant. Now, if you don't know, if you haven't been caught up with the story thus far, Revenant is actually a simulacrum, which we'll get into the details, that has kind of gone wild and essentially tried to assassinate people and kind of gotten out of control. And so the people who have made him, Hammond Syndicate, have actually been trying to stop him and obviously quell what they have created, which is this crazy killing monster. What we understand, though, that's important about the story is that 20 years ago, Revenant actually, on his realization days, almost this kind of like wake up, right, that spurned it all, that started it all, was when he went and assassinated the father and mother of Loba. Now, Loba was just a child at that time, but if you remember seeing that cinematic, there was a little girl screaming over her father who was in charge, and at all the security, Revenant breaks in, gets the kill. Flash forward 20 years later. That was in the past, and now things are coming up that would lead us to believe Loba has been searching for him all this time and has finally found a way to contain him and watch him and hopefully make her move. Now, the first teaser was called Project 6617. You go into documents, you go into emails, and then you go into Hammond Syndicate. And the text is a little hard to read, but let me see if somebody has blown it up actually, and I'm going to blow it up on your screen so hopefully you guys can see it and you can zoom in. It goes, slaughtered 24 of our people, mine and yours, in a matter of days. So I'll pretend you didn't write that you're washing your hands of the immortal murder robot you people created. So this is seemingly in the voice of Loba. We'll have to see if this ends up being the truth, but it seems like Loba is writing this to someone, possibly at Hammond Robotics, or if this is a conversation that she once had that was tracked down. The second person then responds, first, he was created by our predecessor, the original Hammond Robotics, or IMC, as I refer to them. Secondly, do you know how many simulacrums currently living in the Outlands have had psychotic breaks? 1. This one. You knew the risks, and this one crossed that line 100 reses ago. Lastly, regarding the casualties, you've never had an issue with collateral damage before. Don't start now because they're Syndicate. So it would appear that this is actually deeper because you knew the risk, and this one crossed that line 100 reses ago, doesn't actually seem to involve Loba. It seems to involve someone who, on the kind of side of people who were killed that day, had been involved in Revenant's kind of like, I think, what would you call it, experiments in order to kind of make him, right? And so it's interesting. We don't exactly know who this is, so it gets a little bit more detail, but a lot of the times you would think it was Loba right away. I don't think that's it. Let's read on. What part of immortal murder robot don't you get, says the first voice. There has to be another way to stop this thing, and don't start on the source code. We can't access it. There are issues. What kind of issues? They say. Let's just say the security system works a little too well and leave it at that. So what? We just sit around and wait for this thing to kill us? Gosh, you're right. You really are out of options. If only there was some way to keep him busy while also keeping an eye on him. Shame you don't know any murder competitions to hide your murder robot in. It goes on to mention original Hammond Robotics pre-2020 92, 100 reses, can't be stopped, source code can't be accessed, why, security, and it leads you to believe that the person who is taking these post-it notes is the one actually that is probably Loba, who is looking for him and tracking down that Revenant has been put into the Apex games as a way to kind of at least hold on to this monster right now because they cannot control him and they have no way to really deal with him. So this is clearly a conversation. We don't know with who, whether it's someone close to Loba, whether it's someone she's never met before, but it's very intriguing as to who she's actually getting this information from. So we got that, and then today there was a brand new teaser as well, guys. But before we get into that one, I want to say, again, if you're enjoying this, please leave a like. I don't usually break these things down because you guys know better than me half the time what this is, but I think it's really great because it means a lot of people who are more casual don't get to see this amazing lore that Apex Legends has built, and the second one is even more interesting as well as part of the lore of this universe. So let's get into it, but also let me know if I've missed anything in the comment section below. I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about what is the second teaser, because today, about 24 hours later, they ended up putting another note that was found on a computer, and it says a lot of different things, but it looks like the main conversation is around what a simulacrum is, and also a neural transfer trial from November 24th, looking like maybe 2415. The trial is called 7578. It says neural data corrupted during transfer. Subject B, significant data degradation, digital copy unsuitable to sustain basic neural function to control vessel. Subject C, negative response to identical copy. Subject hysterical, subdued. Interesting. The last line is attempts to separate organic storage component from simulacrum development processes have been unsuccessful. Hypothesis, we will likely see greater success if organic storage is retained as a remote network intermediary. Recommended adjustments to testing in future trials. So basically, this is most likely referring to a trial that Revenant was a part of and discussing what these trials are, which is what they're building as Revenant, which is a simulacrum. And it goes on to explain this term. Terms like cyborg, android, and simulacrum are often used interchangeably, but this is based on a misconception. In truth, simulacra falls somewhere between cyborgs and androids on the spectrum of organic to inorganic life. While cyborgs are organic beings enhanced by machinery and androids are entirely mechanical, simulacra move through the world in synthetic, and it cuts off. But I would assume you'd say in synthetic bodies. That, however, would come as a surprise to the simulacrum itself, which still sees itself as human. So this is due to an essential piece of programming called the Ego Retention System, or the ERS, which essentially ensures the simulacrum's mental stability by causing it to see its former self when it looks in the mirror. Now, this scene was actually played out in Revenant's reveal trailer, when essentially he broke his image of his Ego Retention System after killing all of those people and saw himself not as himself as a person, but actually as the new killer robot, and he's only gone on what seemingly is like a crazier rampage and been even more uncontrollable. So a simulacrum really is taking advantage of having a robot that almost assumes itself, believing that is it's still its individual self because of its ego being retained through the system. seeing itself as it was as a human in real life, thinking it's operating that way, but truly has the body of that cyborg, of that kind of robotic nature that we've seen Revenant have. All of this leads us to say that there are a few big questions going into tomorrow's video, and of course, in regards to this lore at all, there's a ton of questions because clearly there's something important happening behind the scenes that has been either covered up or that people are trying to control around what they've created with Revenant, and Loba is hunting down that information to either be able to expose him, which could lead to, hey, maybe Loba has some type of in-game counter to Revenant. Maybe there's something in the lore behind this as well that means that Loba is uncovering a bigger issue that's happened with simulacrums outside of just Revenant, and she's uncovering a bigger plot and the people who were behind the crazy bad tests of Revenant and the 100 reses like they did before, which I think they're crediting to the IMC. And they're also giving an opportunity for us to see that there is a ton of information that is still in the back burner to fill in the gaps of this story where we don't necessarily see everyone's motivation. And that is what I think is so cool about what Apex Legends is doing. These little clips allow you to kind of say, okay, well, all right, so maybe there was something went wrong, so maybe that's why Revenant was pissed off, or maybe Revenant doesn't know, and someone else actually, through those testings, had to over-test and get exposed to Revenant going crazy in that 100th test, and he broke free, and then he killed them, and now that's the person that, you know, is in charge of Hammond at this point and trying to hunt him down alongside Loba, so there's two interests. There's a lot of lore, there's a lot of possibility, but for someone casually following it like me, not giving you guys answers, I think it definitely opens up some cool thought processes. But I know in the comment section there are going to be some geniuses, some people who have played Titanfall who know all about it. I just want to update you guys on the actual teases that came out today and hopefully spread some information, have some conversation, and get ready for tomorrow with the new trailer. Cannot wait to watch that. It is going to be so fun, and expect a very hot drop of the trailer reaction on the channel right after it's done. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for more Apex Legends on the channel and content like this, and to support your boy. And as always, never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.